Hope you had a great New Year, Gotcha Gang. Kawaii50 here with another FGO video, here to talk about a brand new 5-star assassin joining the ranks. It's Qin Shi Huang's right-hand man, Li Shuwen. It's the old man version. I gotta say, I love the idea of an old man assassin. It's just, it's all the tropes I really enjoy. And if it's all the tropes you enjoy, be sure to go ahead and chuck a like down there and subscribe for some more sweet content. Alright, let's get started. Li Shuwen is rocking a quick Arts Buster deck and a single target Arts type Noble Phantasm. So yes, he is a single target Arts attacker akin to someone like, say, a Lancelot or a Nero Bride or something like that. When it comes to max HP, his HP is decent at 12,568. It is not terribly high, but still on the higher end among the entire cast. His max attack, however, is at 11,470, currently ranked 60th in the entire game out of 300 servants. So that's pretty beefy, especially when it comes to an assassin. His NP per hit is pretty solid at a 0.99%. However, his arts cards do only have 2 hits, so we might want to manipulate that a little bit. Star absorption is also average at a 97. So typical Saber-style star weights. Li Shuwen's only passive skill is an arts card effectiveness boost and star drop rate boost, which is great for his overall kit. So let's go ahead and move on to his active skills, starting with Chinese martial arts Bashi Quan, rank A+++. This gives him the ability to ignore invincibility for 1 turn and also increases his critical strength by 50 to 100% for 1 turn. So on a turn enemy uses a defensive buff, you are able to just break through their defenses and make sure Old Man Li deals some damage. That's a pretty hefty crit damage boost as well on top of that. At level 10, a 100% is no joke. I definitely recommend maxing this last. The crit damage boost is pretty substantial between levels 1 and levels 10, but that ignore invincibility isn't getting buffed in any way, shape, or form by leveling this skills. The other skills simply just got a lot more going on. Old Man Shuwen's second skill is Sphere Boundary Extreme rank A-. This gives him a 1-turn evade and increases his critical star gather rate for 1 turn. It also has the added benefit of granting between 5 and 15 critical stars. This is Old Man Li's main defensive skill and also the main way he gains critical stars. I've gotta recommend you max this second for a couple of reasons. To start with, it's going to give him a lower cooldown on the evade. You'll primarily be using this skill to dodge enemy attacks if you don't got a super strong support. But that star gather rate is what is most important on this skill. You can't crit if you don't have the ability to gather stars. That star gain on top of that, the 5 to 15 you get, is honestly just gravy. Considering the man is an assassin, you are going to be generating stars at a pretty decent pace. Plus, you've got the rest of your team to help you generate stars too. The old man's final skill is Intersection of Yin and Yang, rank B. This increases his attack by 20 to 30%, and also further increases his attack for 3 turns by an additional 10 to 20%. So you're looking at a total 50% increase on the turn it's used at level 10, and then for the next couple turns following that, a 20% increase. This is what you want to max first. This is Old Man Li's primary source of damage, and considering it spills into other turns, it's going to get you a lot more than just a single turn attack buff. Shame it's not a charisma, but Old Man can't get everything. Old Man Li's Noble Phantasm is going to get an upgrade around 12 of 2022. So we've got a ways to wait for that. I'm going to go ahead and go over the upgraded ability and talk about the differences between what we're going to get on release and that. Old Man Li's Noble Phantasm at maximum effectiveness is Wu Er Da, no second strike. This deals between 1200 and 1800% damage to a single enemy and has a 150% chance to instantly inflict death on them. It also has the added ability of decreasing the enemy's defense for 3 turns, and this activates before the damage is dealt, so you're going to see the benefit of that right away. Now, the main ways this changes from what we're going to get on release is the base at NP1 is being upgraded from a measly 900% to 1200%. On release, a 1200% is the equivalent of an NP2 Li Shuwen, so we are basically all getting an NP2 Li for free when this upgrade comes out. And the death chance, of course, goes up by an extra 50%, so it can bypass resistances with how debuff resist and all that works in the game. I'm not going to get into it right now, that's a long conversation. But overall, Wu Er Da is a pretty powerful Noble Phantasm after it gets the upgrade. The base damage is fairly high. The fact that it can Arts Brave Chain means that you have potential to refund your Noble Phantasm if you're playing your crits right, have the right supports, and all of that. And on top of that, a 150% chance to inflict death on a single enemy. The old man may not be killing servants instantly all the time, but I don't think it will be out of the realm of possibility to see Old Man Li take down a dragon with a single punch. And that's pretty awesome if you ask me. When it comes to Old Man Li's allies, we want a focus on Arts Card effectiveness, or even better, Noble Phantasm damage. Especially after the upgrade, Old Man Li's Noble Phantasm is the primary focus of his kit, so we want to do what we can to increase that. So, of course, to start with, your Arts type supporters are going to be very helpful here. Tamamo no Mai, Artoria Pendragon Caster, or for a more affordable option, Paracelsus von Hohenheim also helps with that NP gain. That NP gain is going to help him refund his Noble Phantasm, so he can do it again. Another great freebie option to help the old man punch his enemies to death is Bart Roberts. Bart Roberts has Voyager of the Storm rank A+, which will increase the old man's NP strength and attack, and he also has the ability to decrease his own critical star gather rate. So his rider class will not necessarily be a detriment, and when he uses that skill, he increases the critical strength of all his allies. So you can couple that critical strength boost along with Old Man Li's own critical strength boost and deal extra critical damage. Nightingale Santa is another fine freebie pick. She has the ability to help Old Man recover all of his HP, to give him a guts, to increase his NP strength, his attack, and his critical strength. The only issue with Nightingale is the fact that she is an archer, so she has a naturally high star weight. You're going to want to make sure you have maybe a fragment of 20-30 on her and your other support, or just something to make sure there are enough stars available so that Old Man Li can get some. And now's the time where we start getting into our more expensive options, starting with Leonardo da Vinci Rider. Da Vinci Rider has the potential to give the old man a huge NP strength boost. Dream of the Stars rank D is a 20 to 30% boost that can also grant him a 10% NP gauge steroid. So if his NP is just a little bit away from being maxed out, Da Vinci can help him do that. She also has the ability to increase his NP overcharge level by 1 stage for 1 turn, so that brings his 20% defense reduction up to a 25%, leading to the old man dealing more damage in a Brave Chain. And finally for allies, I can recommend the old man as a pretty decent pairing along with Vritra. Vritra has the ability to increase the NP strength of all allies 1 time over 5 turns. Li Shuwen has the potential to help Vritra generate stars thanks to his assassin class, and Vritra can give him the ability to deal special attack damage to divine opponents. With Li Shuwen's defense reduction Noble Phantasm, you can go ahead and combine that with Vritra's EX rank Asura Shrestha Noble Phantasm, decrease everyone's critical rate, decrease their arts resist, decrease their defense apply, skill seal. Heck, I would honestly recommend using Vritra's Noble Phantasm first, and then following up with Old Man Li's, just because the defense reduction is activated before damage is dealt. That defense reduction, coupled with an arts card resist, is really gonna hurt. When it comes to the old man's craft essences, we want to focus on NP strength above all else. However, we can also filter in some effects like Arts Card Effectiveness, NP Gain, or Critical Strength as needed. Any of these will help Li Shuwen out with his kit. Obviously, the Black Grail is always going to be a supremely powerful choice for NP damage focused servants. The boost it applies is just undeniably the strongest in the game, and the demerit is negligible at best. For a great freebie option, I like to recommend the classic 3 Great Heroes. This grants him a 20% NP damage boost, a 20% star drop rate boost, which pairs well with his assassin class, and also allows him to start the battle with a 40% NP gauge. So if you pick this up with the Go West event, then you should be set for a nice budget craft essence. Mark on a Smiling Face also deserves some mention, because you probably got this if you were attempting to roll for Benny Enma. This is actually a very, very good craft essence, providing arts card effectiveness, NP gain, and NP strength, all 3 of the boosts we know Old Man Lee can benefit from. Emerald Float was of course another great booster that we got from a summer event, arts card effectiveness plus 15%, and NP strength plus 15% as well. This is great for pretty much any arts focused servant. And if you're playing on JP and want to give Old Man Lee a new toy to play around with, why don't you give the Sky as a row to try on him? This gives him permanent ignore invincibility and also grants him an NP strength and NP gain boost. Command codes for Old Man Lee end up being pretty bog standard picks. We want Stargather on his arts cards to make sure that he is able to use those crits to generate as much Noble Phantasm as possible, so things like Immature Illusionary Command Seal are going to be best in slot on both of those. You can go ahead and sub out one of his Buster cards for Da Vinci Chan, so he can give himself a 15% NP damage boost for 1 turn that is overall going to help the damage output of his Noble Phantasm. For his second Buster card, any kind of damage up command code is going to work really well on that, considering it's just something extra we really need to put on there anyways. I like Command Seal of a Cardinal-Minded Retainer, which increases the critical damage of that Buster card by 15%, but any Stargather, Special Damage, see, pretty much anything is going to work for that Buster card as long as it goes towards increasing damage in some way. And finally, for that quick card, the man's an assassin. So let's generate some stars. Something like Code Glitter is going to work really well on that. Star generate plus 20%, can't really go wrong. Overall, gang, Lee Shuwen knows what he wants to do, and he does it fairly well. He is designed to pick out a single target in a lineup, tell them they are going to die, and then make it so. There are of course a couple of optimizations that could be made with his kit. I really wish he had some sort of Noble Phantasm damage boost, considering he is so reliant on it. But the defense debuff is good enough because it not only helps him, but it also helps the rest of your team deal extra damage as well. Overall, Lee Shuwen is an all-or-nothing character, one you really need to build your team around, and one who really needs the support of all of his allies to become the strongest killing machine on the battlefield. But once you put all that focus into him, if you build a team around him focused on arts, focused on NP damage, focused on critical damage, there's a good chance he can live up to his name. But of course, I want to know what you all think, so go ahead and let me know all your thoughts about Lee Shuwen in his Assassin incarnation down in the comment section below. Let me know if there are any other characters you'd pair him with, any other craft essences or command codes you might like to use with him, and if you're watching this after he came out on NA, let me know if you rolled for him. I always like seeing that other people have gotten what they wanted to roll for in this game. This is Kawaii50, hoping you all have a phenomenal day, and I'll see you all in the next video.